All right, let's switch over to Visual Studio so that I can establish a reference for this guy so that it's only going to display you won when I've actually won the game. So I'll switch over to Visual Studio, and over here where it says public text, count text, I'm going to press enter. Underneath that I will type public text. Let's create another text item called win text. Now, what I want to do at the beginning of the program is I want to set that win text to nothing, set it to blank. So what I can do is over here, I'll just simply say win text dot text. I'm going to make sure that you are initially nothing. And so that's why I enter the quote, close quote, right next to each other, because what that's going to do is if the text property has anything within it for this win text item, make sure that it's blank at the start of the program. So that way, when I first run the program, let's make sure it's blank. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to change the function set count text so that if the user has collected all 8 of those items, right? So let's go back over here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those items. If the user has collected all 8 of those items, then I'll display U1. So over here in this function, press enter underneath this line of code, and we'll place an if statement. If the count is greater than or equal to 8, if that's in fact the case, open and close curly braces, then I want you to change winText.text property to the statement U1 exclamation mark. So only if the count is greater than or equal to 8, meaning that I've actually captured all 8 of those items, then I will change this text item for winText to actually state U1. Now, what I've just done over here is called hard coding, and I don't think that's a good idea to do that. It's not a good idea to hard code because this can lead to problems. It's a better idea to create a constant. So what I'll do is I'll go to the top over here, and let's say before start, I will create a constant. And we'll say const int num of items. Do I have to capitalize these? No, I don't. It's a convention. It's like if I say achoo, and then you guys say bless you. That's what we say in America, right? We say God bless you. It's a convention. Same thing with constants. Whenever you create a constant, you always capitalize all the letters. It's a way of you being able to determine, this must be a constant. A constant is different than a variable. Variables change. They vary. Constants do not change. They stay the same throughout the program. So now what I've done is by creating this constant number of items, and in this case I know that there are 8 items on my game. If in the future I decide to add 9, 10, 11, so forth and so on, then I can just change it in this one spot and have it make an effect to the rest of my game. So over here, instead of saying 8, I will simply replace that with num of, look at that, it automatically appears automatically. I'll just simply double click that. That's what I want. I want to be able to say if the count is greater than the number of items, and I know that the number of items, as you can see on this drop down, is 8. All right, so that's the better thing to do. All right, let's go ahead and click File and Save, and I'm going to switch back over here to Unity, and I'm going to select the player and give it a second to update. And when it does update, you'll see over here it says winText. I have not referenced anything over here to winText yet. So I'm going to select this guy over here, click, hold down, and drag and drop right on top of winText. So now there is a reference. When I say winText in my code, what am I referring to? I'm referring to this guy right here. All right, let's see what happens. So let me go ahead and play the game. And at first, it doesn't display winText. The game is running. The count is set to 0, looking good. And so now let's go ahead and capture these items. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally let's count. As soon as I capture that last item right there, there it is. U1 is now displayed above the UFO because I have actually captured all 8 of those items. How we were able to do that is via code. Only if the count is greater than or equal to the number of items, which in this case is 8, then we will change the text appropriately. All right, so the last thing then to consider is how we want to play this game. Where do we want to distribute this thing to? To a Macintosh, to a PC, to an iPhone, or an Android device? So I'll switch over here to Unity, and what we'll do is we'll click File and then Build Settings. So in Build Settings, based on how you installed your program, it asks, do you want to have a Mac, PC, Linux standalone, iOS, Android, blah, 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 blah. So I selected all these items. I want to display this on a Macintosh. Because I'm actually running this on a Mac, it says the target platform is Mac OS. But I could also make this a Windows a target platform as well, but I'll leave that at Mac OS. And okay, so everything looks pretty good over here. Let's see what happens when I build and run. Okay, so I'm going to click build and run. It's asking me where I want to save this, and so what I'll do is I'll save this to my desktop just to make things easier for me in terms of where this thing is located. And I'll go over here and I'll say UFO. I'll put my last name and I'll just put the year. You know, you may be looking at this video for 2020 or 2021. You know, just put whatever the year is just so that you can distinguish this particular game. We'll click Save. Give it a couple seconds and it will create an actual application folder. And then it's going to actually run the application. So give it a second or two. It's actually packaging all the assets, as you can see over here, making the game complete. So all the graphics, all of the code is going to be compiled, all the sounds, if it had sounds, are going to be added as well. And so you can see here that I've got the game running. Okay, now I'm going to select all the various items over here, and you can see that the count is working fine. And let me capture these items over here and get this guy over here, and then I have one more to count. Okay, there it is. U1 is displayed above UFO. The count is finished. I'm done. Very nice. You can see that the game here, UFO game 2019, Windows. Do I want to run this thing in full screen? There's Command F, or I can get out of full screen by pressing Command F on my keyboard again. You can do the same thing on a Windows platform as well. Do you want to minimize this? What do you want to do? In this case, I want to go ahead and quit. So I could either click this or I could click the red X to quit the game. Now let me just show you what has happened here. I want to open up my Finder, and let me drag and drop this Finder over here, and I'm going to go to desktop because that's where I saved it, and there it is. Now this game now that I've created it, it is an application, and it's what, 126 megabytes. If I right click this and show package contents, really that UFO game or UFO Solis game is really a collection of all of these various items. So assets and changing the code. There's a lot of stuff here that's actually included in this. So I'm going to go back over here. This is something that you can give to your friend on a Macintosh. They should be able to run this and run your creation, run your game. Now, if I wanted to run a game in a different manner, what I could do is on the Mac, I could press down Alt and then double click this, and it should give me, let's see here, that's not what I wanted. Let me stop the game. Go back over here to my Finder. Let's see, where's my Finder? Here it is. And I'm going to go back over here to desktop. Here it is. So I think, is it Command this? I think it's Alt. Let me double check. I'm forgetting. Nope, that's not it. Close that. Is it Options? Nope, that's not it either. And let's see here. Let's go back to my Finder. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you some of the various options that you have in terms of how we're going to run the program here. So let's go back to Finder and go back to desktop. And let's see, maybe if I right click, is there a way to change some of these different items? No, I don't see anything over here. How about if I hit Control and double click? No, that's not it either. Right click is not going to do it. I thought it was Options, but it's not letting me do that. I guess it just allows me to go to full screen. See, in older versions of Unity, it allowed me to establish resolution and if whether or not I wanted to start off in full screen or not, but it looks like I'm not able to do that here. So under Services, maybe? No, that's not going to do it. And Windows is not going to allow me to do that either. Okay, so I guess when you double click on the program, it's just simply going to double click or it's going to operate rather as a windowed game, and then if you wanted to, you could change it to full screen. So I guess that's it. All right, so this is Professor Robert Solis. I hope this video lesson was helpful. Have a good day. See you next time.